Work that better.
Word.
See, I like stuff like that.
Word.
I love stuff like that.
Yo, why your background looking real sexy, bro? Like
because I have to be. Well, let me get it. Because I have to be.
you know what I'm saying? I see your background, yo. It's,
At least it ain't red.
you
If
know
it
what I'm
was
saying?
red,
Yo,
then
hey, he said.
if it was red, there'd be a problem. But it's purple.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Oh my goodness! I think I left my glasses upstairs, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try.
You see, I don't. Yo, it's crazy, P. We at the age now where we got. I was at the church because we doing a major renovation
Mhm.
at Trinity, and so man, if you see that place, it looked like an all out event center, bro. It's
Wow!
unbelievable.
Come on!
Don't worry. I'm gonna have you down here in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
We gonna pull some strings and bring you down.
I'm already ready. I'm
Yo,
already ready.
so we had, they got a whole like lighting system that runs off of a machine all on its own. So
Mhm.
we was down there getting trained on it today, and the lights. Oh man, when I tell you they were sexy, bro.
Sweet.
When I tell you
I
they
hear you.
sexy, bro.
I'm just
I tell
I'm
you.
trying to light up this
But
place, man.
I was trying to read the thing on the board, but I was like, you know how you read something and you reading it right here, and it's like, no man, I can't read that. You have to.
Yeah.
Yo, that's how I had to reach in my bag for my glasses. Like, yo, that's the age we at now where we
That's
got
the age we're at now. That's the age we're at now, man. We gotta reach back for the glasses. You know what I'm saying?
I
That's
don't like it.
crazy, man. So
I don't like
Quest,
it.
man, it's good to see you, man. It's
It's
good to
good to
see
see
you.
you, brother. It's always good to see you.
You know,
Now Now for the rebels in the building, um, the following message are not necessarily the views.
You better play it. You better play it. I'm gonna be
Did,
upset if you don't.
listen. Yeah, I'm just yeah, yeah, I just
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now, let's see.
just
Trevor Goring is on all the way from Virginia. Karen Better is watching all the way from the Maryland area right here.
come on.
For Cheryl Marshall, she's on right now watching also. You know what I'm saying? There we go. There we go.
My
You know,
check is
we're gonna
thing
ask
on.
y'all to
I
just
ain't even know if I would rap or just.
I gotta stop.
you better behave yourself. So my man Trevor, his wife is like a great coach.
Yeah, shouts out to
Um,
them, man.
yeah, definitely. Sophia Gooden is on right now, and uh
Mm,
Cheryl Marshall, man. I was sharing with some folks from church the other day that
yeah.
Cheryl's dad has been missing, man, for like I think it's probably a month and a half now. And so
What?
yeah, yeah.
Dem-
So
He's dealing with dementia?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So we want to throw up prayers for her pops, man, because first of all, in a
Indeed.
situation like this, no news is still good news.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I'm
yeah, for
saying?
real. For
No
real.
news is still good news, man. And so you kind of wondering how everybody's feeling, man. You just went through a Father's Day. That's why I texted her up the other day. I was like, yo, how are you? Because Father's Day, you know what I'm saying? Where's your mindset? But she said she was good. And she's got faith and she's holding on. So big ups to Cheryl right now, and let you know that we're praying for you. I
Yeah,
see
we
my girl
definitely
Merlan is on right now. Man,
yeah.
this girl's a beast, man. Merlan, and and my man Jack Sansu. You don't know about Jack Sansu, bro. You're too
Oh,
young.
that's family, bro.
Oh,
That's
he's
family. Yo, Jackie and Josette, like
yes,
that's his
man.
sister. They right here with me. They in
At-
Charlotte here with me.
Get out of here.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Jackie's my dad,
I missed the
bro.
move. I see when you're in your own business. I missed the
You see?
move. Didn't even didn't even know, man. That's the dude I went to get my house
Yeah,
done. You
yeah,
know.
Jack. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Jack is my brother, man.
Good
That's my
man.
brother, man.
Good man.
Yup,
Good man.
yup,
Good man.
yup.
So
S-
it's good.
I
Yeah, man.
yeah, I want to tell him real quick, P, like for real, if you watching right now, yeah, Jack, I see you, baby. If you watching this right now, just do me a favor. Just see, he requests his family. Just click the share button right there,
Yes.
right in the window that you watching it. Just click the share button and just click share now. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Just click
Yeah.
share now. That's it. Share and share now. That's it.
I
Yep,
don't
yep.
know if you can see it, right? You can't see the numbers.
I can. I think it's. I don't know. I can't see the
No,
number right now because if I pull up my Facebook on my other screen, I can see the number.
now that's Facebook, but it's all over. So the numbers are
Oh,
climbing. That's
okay.
great, man. That's great.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yep.
That's great.
Mm,
So good to see Jack, man. Jack is good people. Good people right there. So listen,
amen.
man. Unscripted conversations, man. Last week,
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
great time, man.
Yep.
I had a great time. I had a
Yep.
great time last week. And let me tell you what hit me about last week that really had my head going.
Hmm.
Um, what had my head going was I gotta mute my dogs, man. Come on. Hey, what they barking at? What they, whatever. Whatever. Can't say it. What? Shut up, dog. Yeah. Um. The difference, or if not
Yeah.
the difference,
Yeah.
between a priest and a shepherd.
Yeah.
That was nice last week, man.
Yeah. It
I was.
was. It was. Oh, we gotta wait for him to come back in. Don't tell me. Come on. Come on. Come back in here, P. Yeah. What up, everybody? Dope conversations we had last week on the differences between there you go,
Yeah.
between the priest and the shepherd. And it's funny, I took a deep dive into the way of the shepherd. You feel
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
Kevin Lehman and Bill Pentak. Yo, if you haven't read the book, if you're trying to be a shepherd in your home, then you might need to pick this one up. And I'm telling you, it's a good read. And it's a short, it's got like Let me see. I think it's got like 120 something pages in it.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
easy read, but when I say power packed,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a well put together 120 something pages.
I see. I like that, man. I like that, and I really think that the mindset is different. The
Hmm.
mindset is different because if you're leading, then I think it's a little bit more stressful when they're like, "Well, are you leading me?" But it's your God-given right, man. It's your God-given right to lead, and I think that's what God is asking us to do: lead.
It is.
He's asking
It
us
is.
to lead, and so I'm with that, man. I'm with that 100%. He's asking us to lead. So let me just say this to you: my daughter played me out. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this joint?
Awesome, like
She,
my daughter.
she was awesome, like my daughter.
Wow. Wow.
So she says
Wow.
to me, "Hey, Dad, I'm sending you your gift." I
Yeah.
was like, "All right, you send me all right." It's gonna say my name on it, but yeah, came in today. She was like, "I want you to wear that joint." Awesome, like my daughter. So I guess she wants me to just stress it that she's awesome,
I love it. I love it.
and I'm
Um,
good. So that was my Father's Day present for my daughter.
I
This
love it.
is my Father's Day present for my son. Hold
Let
up a
me
second.
see. Let me see.
This joint right here.
Yo, oh snap! I've been eyeing this thing.
It's
I've been eyeing this thing. It wants you to write and answer the questions on your life story so they can get a better idea
yeah.
of the upbringing. Yes,
Yes. That's
that's
it, man.
crazy. I've been eyeing that. Yo, that's dope. How is it so far?
Yo, listen, man. All I can say to you is it's real. I didn't even start writing. I just started reading the questions. Like they got questions in this joint. Like, okay, see, here we go, right? They got questions, right?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Come on.
They got questions in this joint like,
Mm.
were there any foods you disliked as a child? And do you still dislike them now? Man, asparagus. But I love it now.
Okay.
That's
Okay. This
like
is
I gotta fill in all of that because one day I'm not gonna be here. It's all right. Why did you get despondent, bro? I said one day I'm not gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? And they can be
yeah, I
able to
like
pass
that.
that down and share it.
Yeah.
You
Yo,
know?
it's funny when I get there's something that I do with couples when I'm coaching, right?
Hmm.
To find out or to give them personally an idea of where they are in this particular season. Like there's a set of questions that I ask. One deals with, when you know. Another one deals with think about it. Another
Okay.
one deals with the past. And one deals with the present. One deals with the future. So when you know, like I take them to this place and I ask them, what are your partner's three best personality traits?
What's your partner's best three personality traits?
Yes. And
Okay.
then I'll name them, start asking them stuff like, name one of the stresses that your partner is facing right now. And you'll be surprised. Something is so simple, they have no idea. And then the other spouse will tell them what they're stressing over right now. And they're like, what? How is it that you stressing over this and you didn't say
What's
anything to
what's
me?
what's one that you heard? What's one that you heard?
I heard one husband is stressing over whether or not he can meet the standard in his own mind about providing for the family. And then it, of course, flourished over into another conversation about what providing really is. And it's not just reduced to just money alone.
Wow.
And because he had been so focused on just the money,
Yeah.
he neglected the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the emotional, all of those different other areas,
Mm.
right? Because if you're just providing via money, you're really not providing. Let's just keep it 100.
Gotcha. Facts.
So
Facts.
so so they get questions like that, or they get when was the last time your partner cried?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So when you ask those questions, like
Yeah.
if there was a food that you liked as a child, did you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
whoever put those questions together, bro, those are I feel where they coming from.
Okay. I'm gonna catch you with one. All right. I'm gonna ask you one
Yeah,
straight off, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. What is your earliest memory, bro?
My earliest memory.
Uh-huh. What's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is probably playing outside on Kings Highway. between 91st and 92nd. Like
That's your earliest memory.
my earliest memory is like that. I went to PS 219 in Brooklyn
Okay.
for kindergarten, and after that there was like no more. And actually halfway through that year is when I ended up in Hanson Place, halfway through my kindergarten year. But my earliest memory is around that time, playing in Brooklyn, playing right there. We lived in that apartment building, right, the first one on 91st, from
Okay.
Remsen up yeah
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
yeah
about.
9201. Yep.
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna say, what's up, G?
What up, G?
What up, G?
What up, G?
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Yeah.
My earliest memory that I can really think of, right, is my mother giving me a pack of Wrigley's
Gum.
gum.
No, wow.
You know the joint that's in the yellow. That's the yellow.
The yellow. Yeah.
Was
Do they even make that? And it was
And my
Wrigley's
mom
and
gave
Juicy
it to-
Fruit.
It's Juicy Fruit, not Wrigley's, bro.
Juicy Fruit.
And
Big Red.
And the reason why she gave it to me
Yeah.
is because she asked me to do something. I was about 4 because I wasn't going to school yet. Gary was going to school. And she gave me that, and I remembered. That's what I remember, man. In fact, I don't think it was my mother; it was my grandmother. That's what I remember, man. I know it was 4 because I wasn't in school yet.
Wow.
That's what I remember, man. It was Juicy Fruit. It was Juicy Fruit. Look at your girl, Milan. You
remember them gums, Wrigley's and Big Red? Give your breath long lasting freshness with Big Red.
Oh man! Somebody just hit me with one. Somebody said, "Grandma, it's a book. Grandma, tell me your story." Wow. Somebody just hit me with that. Like, so somebody is able to, write these things, man, and so it won't be forgotten. So I'm gonna take my time, man. I'm gonna write up some of these things so my kids would know what I like, what I didn't like, in the whole 9. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yo, everybody lived in Brooklyn. Merlan was like she was between Kings Highway and Clarkson.
You see, she right around the corner because I was on Kings Highway between 91st and 92nd.
Check this one, Jackson Sue. My man was like he was
95th and Kings Highway, just a couple of 4 blocks up from me.
I'm trying to say, it's a Brooklyn thing, man. Hey, and Brooklyn don't even look the same anymore.
No, I don't, bro. None of
it
it
don't
look
the same. It's like a little Manhattan.
I promise you. Worse if you go to places like Park Slope and Flatbush, like what used to be where we went to school, for, the Williamsburg Bank building. Yeah. That's now condos. Yo, and millions
BAM.
of dollars.
Remember BAM?
Brooklyn Academy of Music. That's right next door to us.
It's like a big show spot now.
Yeah. Block parties and festivals and. Yeah, you couldn't walk through that neighborhood when we was going to school.
No, sir. No, sir. The walking from Bethel to Hanson Place it wasn't just a journey. It was a scary journey.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Now, man, you got coffee shops out there and the whole 9.
Everything.
Man. You can't even park. You can't even park parallel no more. You're not parking like this now.
Yo,
that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So, listen, man. Some of the questions that some people have asked in the past, really, concerning our conversation last week is, what could they do better? What can they do better? Some people started asking that question as a man. How can I do better? What can I do better? I took that to heart. I want I don't want to say it like this, like whatever, right? But I got 3 floors in my house, the basement, regular, top floor.
Mm-hmm.
I purposed that when she came home, that the bottom floor would look like a hotel.
Yeah.
That was what I was purposing. Look, you got another one here. Come on, what is this? What is this?
46 between Winthrop and Rutland. The whole of Flatbush is in the building. I'm talking. The whole of Flatbush there in the building tonight.
The whole away. Yeah, man, for sure. So that was my thing, to make sure that.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
What caused you to start thinking along the lines of, let me at least just make the first floor like a hotel?
I'm the kind of guy that I don't well I don't go out and preach as often as I used to.
Mm.
I probably will do it now again that my kids are
You
out
mean
of
away from church?
away from my church. Yes, that's what I
Yes.
mean.
Okay. Okay.
I will now probably have that itinerary again,
Mhm. Mhm.
because my kids are in college,
Mhm.
and I have
Big,
a new budding church.
big up the empty nesters.
Now, big up to yes, sir. Running naked, running naked.
You don't know.
We need to, we need to do a book called Running Naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every time I went away,
Mhm.
man, the welcome mat was a clean place. So when I came back, she would always tell the kids, yo, listen, your father's coming back. He's coming from a clean place. Don't let him come and see a dirty house. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes.
So I figured it's the same thing like for work. When she's coming off of work, she don't want to come in and see the place, dishes, you know what I'm saying? Things in the same place, blah, blah, whatever. So that first floor, when she walk in, I want it to look like a hotel. You understand
Yeah.
where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So that was me saying what I could do better because I'm home. I work from home. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mindset was. If I like it, she's gotta like it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's very relative to the difference that we were talking about between being a priest and being a shepherd,
No, okay.
right? So what
Yeah.
I learned about sheep is that they're some of the most dumbest, docile, and that's not to say, but I find it funny that the Bible refers to us as sheep, right?
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing that I found out about sheep. They need everything to be right,
Mhm.
in order for them to rest.
Ooh. Ooh. What did you just
So
say?
so when I was reading the book,
Mhm.
right? Dr. Newman takes his student is about to graduate with a master's degree in finance. He's about to go and work for this company called uh, General Technologies or something another, some
Okay.
company.
Uh-huh.
He already got a job as a manager and he's about to manage 9 people. So he goes and tells his professor, and the professor is surprised for him. Make a long story short, happy for him. But he says, I know I'm good in terms of the number crunching and all of that part, but I know nothing about managing people. And thus
Mm.
the story begins.
Mm.
The professor who he sees at school, they have this conversation and he is like, take some time, think about it. But if you want me to teach you about how to manage people, then he says, think about it and then call me back and let me know.
Mm.
So the dude, of course, he's ambitious. He's like, I definitely want to know. So he tells him, all right, I'm calling you back. I want in. I'm willing to give up a couple of my Saturdays in order to make this happen.
Okay.
Let's make it happen. He says, okay, cool. Meet me at this place in front of the school, one of the business buildings, and I'll come pick you up.
All right.
So he comes and picks him up in an old Ford beat up pickup truck, puts him in, and they take this drive about 20 to 30 minutes out into the country. So they get then when they get out there, they get off the main road onto this gravel road. And he is like, this don't look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are we going? And
Where we going? Where we going?
I'm here to learn about business and managing people.
Right. Okay.
So what the student Ted doesn't know is that Professor Newman owns a farm, mostly of sheep.
Okay.
So he brings them into the place where the sheep are, and he tells him, he says, how many did you count? And he said 42.
Mhm.
So he was like, these sheep stink. They're smelly, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, no, it's a walk in the rose, a walk in the park for me, or like a walk through the roses for me.
Mhm.
So he says, it seems that the sheep are happy to see you though. And he is like, yeah, they are. So then he starts examining the sheep, they call them ewes. So he
Uh-huh.
starts
Yes.
examining them one by one. checking the skin to see if there's no sores on them, checking the hoofs to make sure that they're in order, checking all of these different things with them. They said during the summertime, gnats and flies, they have these thing called nasal flies. They fly up into the ewes' noses and they plant eggs, and it causes the sheep to go crazy, of course, because so if they don't get antibiotics or whatever they need to deal with them, they could kill the sheep. So it's a number of different things. And when that stuff is going on, they will not rest. So sometimes they don't look as full as they're supposed to look. They're not, so then he takes him through all of this, right? And at the end, the boy completely misses. So he's like, all right, let's go back to campus now. And he was like, what? He said, that's like, I came to, this is what I'm giving up my Saturdays for. And so he was like, he just looked at him with this look. And then the kid was like, I missed the lesson, didn't I? He's like, yep, you sure did. And he said, all right, like frantically, like, what did I miss? What was it that I missed? Professor looks at him again with a nice little grin on his face, puts 2 coffee cups on the table, says, take out your notebook on your pen and sit down. Fills both the coffee cups up with coffee up to the brim, takes a long sip, right? And then he causes him to write the notes. Here's some of the stuff that he write in the ways of the shepherd, know your flock.
Wow.
Then he says to him, follow the status of your people as well as the status of the work.
Okay.
He said, before you can even get to the work, you have to find out who they are as people, who they are as individuals. And then the second thing he said is to get to know your flock one sheep at a time.
Now, remember, we're talking about families right now, correct?
Well, hold on.
I'm sorry.
You absolutely right, because the principle is definitely there, right? Mm-hmm. Engage your people on a regular basis, and then keep your eyes and ears open, question, and follow through.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there, Paul, and you asked the question earlier on, what is it that we can do better? As men, one of the things that we can definitely do is read more. Why? Because information applied changes situations.
Information applied changes situations.
Yeah. Whenever we would do the to reinforce why you need, if you're married and you haven't read a book, you haven't gone to a marriage conference, you've been married a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you ain't read no book on marriage. Like, where are you in the relationship? Right? So I usually ask them, by show of hands, I'm giving away $1 million to anybody who's going to jump out this plane without a parachute.
Oh.
And so everybody in the room looking at me like I'm stupid. Like, I would it. Yo, brother, yeah. So then I go 10 million. Nobody, maybe 1 or 2. All right, $1 billion. They're like, all right, he's mad now. Right. Then you might get 1 or 2 people say who can't take it no more. Say, well, how you going to enjoy the money if you're dead? I said, well, you lost out on the $1 billion. They're like, how? I said, because the plane is on the ground.
The plane is on the ground.
If I would have told you that information before asking you, do you want to jump out the plane without a parachute? You probably would have said yes. Why? Because now you have the information to make an informed decision.
So are you saying that one of the reasons why we are not better to our wives, we're not better to our children, is because we're not looking for the information to be better?
I'm just saying.
It's almost like, I got to learn this thing on my own. It's like osmosis. I'm going to get this by osmosis, and really, this is one of the reasons why the Bible or the idea of generations following generations. And we're not talking about generational curses either. We're talking about, we've got to learn to be better, because if the Bible says that we as individuals are wicked, right? And we just don't know how, then there's got to be a way for us to be better. And you're just talking about reading. I don't remember the last time, bro, I picked up a book on, I'm going to say this, on marriage until the other day. I'm talking about in March. Wait. Before I got married, I think my wife read this book called Knight in Shining Armor, right? And then we read this other book that we were telling couples about, in like just getting married. Man, I if you really thought about it, man, married couples should be reading how many books per year, you would say, on marriage? I'm asking you.
I'm saying at least 1 to 2 books a year.
At least.
And Yeah, at least on the light side, 1 to
Okay.
2 books. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's one thing to read a book and say you read a book, but can you apply the information? Because before, E used to beat in my head like, yo, Q, information changes situations. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, there'd be times where I would read in books and I'd be like, yo, I got the information. They'd be like, yo, you got to apply it. You just can't read it and have it sitting in your head like that. Do something with it. And that's
Do
where
something
most
with
of
it.
us fail, is because we sometimes some of us get information and we constipated. We don't do nothing with it. But if
Mm,
you're going to read it, and this is the reason why I'm saying on the light end, because when you get to where and I'm not saying I'm in a particular place, because we all growing in some way, shape, or form. I just been
sure.
doing it a little bit longer. I'll read 2-3 books at a time and just take principles. Sometimes I don't even finish the book because I'm so busy taking the principles that I got and trying to apply them. And then
Yeah.
once I master it, then I'll come back and read some other stuff, right? And apply those as well. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I suck at reading. And not that I don't know how to read. It's I think, man, I got ADHD, bro. Something.
yeah.
Because my daughter reads. See, she's on right now. She was like, good
Hmm.
book, Dad. But remember now, my daughter is 20,
Hmm.
right? She's gonna be 21.
Hmm.
My wife read that book when she was 27.
Which one?
Knight in
Not
Shining Armor.
Army. Uh-huh.
Knight in Shining Armor. So she
Uh-huh.
read that book. And I'm saying again, big ups.
Hmm.
I'm saying, I think that you saying each couple should be reading 2 books a year, at least two
Yeah.
books a year, to
Yeah.
sharpen their marriage skills.
Yeah. Women gonna read. Like for me and you, P, we the same in the sense that yeah, my attention span is not too long. So what I gotta do is, shouts out to homie Mia. I have to legit create an environment that it will facilitate my reading, right? So that's usually early in the morning out on the patio,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Breeze is blowing nicely in the morning. Outside, I hear the birds chirping. There's no cars driving by.
All
There's
right.
no neighbor to, because the neighbors, whenever they see me, they want to go deep in conversation. Yeah,
Conversation.
not right now, and I don't want to be rude. So
Right.
either I'll do that or I'll go to the park or wherever, or they're in my office or in my sitting room downstairs. Once I get everybody out of the house, I get me a nice cup of coffee. I get me
Mm.
the softest, furriest blanket,
Yes, sir.
and I'll sit there and I'll read. But I have to prepare the environment for myself to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if we could do one thing better, is just get information. We can
Get
decide once
information.
a journey of 10,000 steps starts with one.
Look what Joe reads. If you read that, if men, go ahead.
If men read more books on marriage, family, and leadership, we would have stronger relationships in the church and in the world. I
Yep.
believe so.
I believe it. I
Big up
believe it.
JoJo.
I
Big up
believe it.
JoJo,
Yeah, big
because
up.
that's facts.
Yeah, yeah.
As a,
And
if you be a man like me and you, when you get certain information, you don't feel convicted.
I do, but we got to work with the conviction. You see, that's the biggest issue. I think for us, many of us, when we as men go to these workshops or we go
Mm,
to these men's retreats and things of like
mm,
that, and
mm.
again, a big up to Myron Edmonds for really moving forward with
Yo,
what he's doing right now.
big shouts out to that dude.
Big,
He's
big shout out to him. And I really believe that the issue is not going to a spot, going there, going for a weekend, reading the book or what have you, because a lot of that convicts us, but
Mhm,
does it change us, converts us? You
mhm.
understand where I'm coming from? And I think a lot of times we get excited about the conviction process, but the conversion process, it changes your life. It's a lifestyle change. Conviction is that one time, boom, I got it. But do I got it takes you back home. You know what I'm saying? Do I got it is how you deal with your kids. Do I got it how you deal with your wife, how you deal with family. And this has nothing to do with even men who has families, right? It could be single men. How do I treat my sisters? How do I treat women who don't have a husband? Do you understand where I'm coming from? So if we read more books, Jojo, on marriage, family, and see, this is the biggest issue. Forget about family, forget about marriage. How about leadership?
That's it.
Right? How about leadership? I personally believe that a lot of us as men, we have lost our space in leadership because we've lost our space to let God move in, in the decisions that we make and what have you. So it's hard to discuss this thing because let's tell the truth, man. My uncle's not going to sit down and talk to me about leadership. My cousins, when we go out, we're not sitting down talking about leadership. We're sitting there talking about, we're not talking about leadership. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're talking about.
Oh,
You know?
so it's crazy because here's where the word, for those of us that are believers, here's where the word kicks in. In order for your faith to grow, you got to read.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The word says faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
Yeah.
So that means, and that hearing, like you could break it down deeper, P, than I can. But I understand that in the Hebrew, whatever that word is, it means repetitive hearing. So you got to hear it over and over and over and over again. And then when you hear it, it sticks. And when it sticks, you start applying. And when you start applying, situations change.
Yeah.
And what I noticed, yeah,
No. What you notice? Go ahead.
I was saying what I noticed is that we want the end result without doing the work. In other words, we want God to change our situation, but we don't want him to change us.
No, we're not ready for that change. I mean, we're not ready for that change. And what I mean that we're not ready for change, let's put us in, what were you not willing to change in your first marriage? What were you not willing to change in your relationships before? Now you're saying, okay, I'm willing to change because I want this marriage to work, or I'm willing to change because I want more years. My parents this week, 56 years of marriage, right? 56. And there was a young person that was at my church Sabbath, and she asked me, how long you been married? And I said 23 years. She was like, oh my gosh, that's such a long time. And I said to her, well, how long have you been married? She was like, because we had the same marriage years ago. She was like 12 years. And she said, but I can't see 23 years. And I'm like,
What?
I can't see 50. That's what she said. And I'm saying to myself, you got to see forever.
You got to.
You got to see forever. And so it's important to recognize that the mindset is, man, I want to be careful when I say this, right?
Take time.
But
take time.
we've got to realize that divorce is not an option. It has become an option.
That's it.
And it's becoming easier and easier to be an option. I'm going to kick something for you, man. It's going to blow your mind. I want you to hear this, right?
Yeah.
I think I've had maybe 5 or 6 friends in the last 2 years to get divorces, right? I'm not saying they failed, because we learned that in the last one, right? We learned that, right? That they didn't fail in their marriage. Okay. Remember, y'all taught me that's not failing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe that marriage from Genesis chapter 6 is what we're seeing from now. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Men marrying men, women marrying women, men marrying for green card, women marrying for green card, men marrying for status, women marrying for status, people getting divorced and then marrying someone else because, listen, not that they did anything, but they were tired. When you look at the Hebrews back then, Israelites back then, remember Moses made this law that, man, listen, if you want to divorce your wife, just go ahead. She burned the rice, divorce her. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yep.
She spoke up. She spoke to you in a harsh way. Divorce her. That's Moses' law. That's Moses' law we talking about, Chief. And Jesus says, yo, man, you can't just divorce somebody because they did that. Today, irreconcilable differences is what people are getting divorced for. Yo, you know what? We're not feeling this anymore. We're different now. And people being different now, and I'm not judging, because Quest, I'm not judging your past relationship, right? But if you're talking about irreconcilable differences, when did things become different? Yeah. When did you start growing differently? And that's why when you're saying, how could I do things better? I got to look out for the signs. I got to ask myself the question, am I the one that's tearing up the the relationship? Am I growing in a different direction? And it doesn't have to be even in an intimate way. Do you like bowling and you like basketball and so whatever? I just think it's really important that every individual grow together so that at least it won't be irreconcilable differences.
I always
Mind
talking.
you, Quest, I'm sorry, mind you, Quest, what we're
Mhm.
really saying is we're different from each other now.
Yep. But
Okay.
the person you married is always going to be different than the person that you married to.
That's true.
Me and Faith been married 2 or 3 times already. We done had 2 or 3 marriages already.
You start again.
Yeah, and
You start again.
that's the thing that I think most marriages fail to realize, that divorce is not an option, number 1. And if you're going to do this, you're going to have to need to know how to recreate your marriage based upon who you are in this season,
Wow, in your
right?
season.
When you're anybody who's an entrepreneur knows, right, that once you grab, I watched me and E talk about TD Jakes and the woman thou art loosed. It started off with a conversation. It turned into a book. It turned into a conference. They had merch and they ran that thing and squeezed it dry until there was nothing left. And then
Mercy.
he had to recreate and move on to something else, manpower or whatever the case may be. In
Uh-huh.
marriage, the principle is the same. What do you do when you've done everything that you possibly could do together and as a couple? This is the reason the Bible says, be fruitful,
Okay.
multiply, subdue the earth and have
Subdue
dominion.
the earth and have dominion.
I find it very funny that he told them that, and that was the first commandment he ever gave, long before the 10 commandments come into play. Why? You always need to be growing and always recreating, right? And so even prior to getting married, you said it, you like basketball, I like bowling, right? The question at the end of the day is, am I or have I achieved the fullness of singleness? What is singleness? Unique, separate, and whole. Not
Unique.
HOLE. Yep.
Mhm.
Unique,
W.
separate. Ain't none like me, right? I'm separate, mean I've been set apart for
Right.
relationship, and whole, WHOLE, mentally, spiritually,
Right.
physically. And
Yeah.
it's important, I believe, for people to achieve the fullness of singleness, because if you are just getting into the dating game and you just going out dating folk, you know what you're going to end up doing? You're going to end up choosing somebody who is a reflection of who you are spiritually, because you can't make a decision out of a place you've never been to.
Wow.
So
You
it would
cannot you
behoove,
cannot
yeah,
make a decision out of a place you've never been to.
nah, you can't. You can't. You know what I'm
Somebody just
saying?
somebody just used your word. Somebody just used your word. Somebody said development.
Yeah, that's my word. That's my word. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so
Somebody just used your word just now.
when you grow as an individual in all of those different areas, emotionally, physically, you think differently. I always tell people, you hear me say it over and over again, your spirit can't hold a secret that your behavior won't reveal.
Ah.
So all I got to do, Maya Angelou was the first one who really said it. She said, when people show you who they are, she didn't say when
B- b-
people tell you who they
right.
are.
Show them.
She said, when you show them who they are, believe
Believe
them.
them. Believe
Believe
them.
them. Because their
Believe
behavior
them.
going to tell you everything you need to know. Just don't worry about this. No watching them out. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Watch the behavior. You know, people say, not watching their face.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
watch that. Don't watch nobody mouth. Just watch
So
the
so
behavior.
so so I got a question for somebody, right?
Yeah.
This person here makes the comment. I know her, I love her to death. She makes the comment. If you read it, divorce is, go ahead.
Yep. Divorce is an option when you are married to someone who is toxic. You literally have to run for your life. Here's the funny thing about that, though.
Okay.
It's not only that they toxic. We chose them.
Wow. So the question is, what if
Mhm.
she chose him and he wasn't toxic at that time?
What was the thing that allowed us not to see the toxicity? Because
Yes.
let me, once again, your soul, your spirit, your character, your wiring
Yeah.
cannot hold a secret that the behavior won't reveal. You need to see them in different arenas. Watch them around the parents, watch them around the friends, watch them around in every little thing. Somewhere along the line, character is going to reveal itself. It can't
So
hide forever.
So I'm going to ask you this question. When we talk about divorce, when is divorce when is divorce
Yo,
good?
when is it good? Right?
Yeah,
Is what you're
when is it
saying.
good?
I believe, like, for real, in cases of divorce, I'm sorry, in cases of infidelity or abuse, and I'm not just talking about physical abuse, I'm talking about emotional abuse, I'm talking about verbal abuse. Like, God didn't tell us to lock into nobody marriage for that foolishness.
Okay.
Right? And I
Hmm.
legit feel like I have a different understanding now that I'm older, and I'm afraid to say it on here because I don't want nobody. Well, he said it. That sound good to me. Gone. You know what I'm saying? But if there is abuse or if there's infidelity, and even in infidelity, like, I'm gonna say something that's really crazy and unpopular, P.
Okay.
But if Faith pops up being, you know, where she was
Yeah, I got
infidelity
you.
took place and she was
Right.
guilty for it. Like, I don't necessarily know that I could just up and divorce her
Yo,
because
listen.
but I
Okay.
got some questions I need to ask. What was it that I did or didn't do that allowed you?
All right. Two
Because
weeks ago, two weeks ago we had this conversation, right? Or two
yeah,
weeks ago
yeah,
we didn't have this conversation. 2 weeks
yeah,
ago you hit on that and you kept on moving.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Whenever I uh counsel a couple, and especially a couple before they even engage,
yeah.
I don't think that people should go to counseling for marriage once you ask them to marry you.
That's it.
You need to go in that bad boy. You need to start from early. You understand where I'm coming from? Okay.
Sidebar:
Uh,
a lot of
no,
them come to me with dates set already,
it's not gonna
and
work.
I tell them, wipe the date.
Yeah.
Because if you already set the date, you don't need me because you already made the decision to go do what
Right.
you want to do already.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. That's a
yeah,
fact. That's a fact, right? The
yeah.
only thing that I can do is advise you.
Mhm.
I can't I can't walk with you. I can't journey with you. You understand where I'm coming from? And and I think that one of the scary things about being married to an individual that you the scariest thing is being married to an individual that you think you love. You understand
Woo.
where I'm coming from? Um, it,
Mm.
it, it, it really brings you to a place of, yeah, that's a lot of work in marriage. And really, God, marriage is work, right? But it's not a ball and chain work.
No.
It's a corrective work,
Yep.
right? It's a redemptive work. So the issue is that if Wendy should do something and I find out, or she tells me, or something of that nature, yo, you know, God forbid, you still got to be in a place. I believe you still got to be in a place where you're redemptive.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
unless she says, if Faith says to you, yeah, I'm not even looking for redemption from you. I don't want this. Then
And I'm not holding you hostage.
no, no, I don't. No, just my house is no prison. My bed is no prison. You understand where I'm coming from? And we could leave this thing amicably as friends.
The reason why I am the way that I am, P, in terms of marriage, and people really don't understand, like, there's legacy here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When children are in the mix, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I explain to my daughter all the time, like, when you make decisions only for you. And Nico's 11, he don't care nothing else. All he cares about what he want to do. And
Mm,
Mason is a little bit different. And back to shepherding, this is the reason why you got to know your flock.
gotcha. Gotcha.
They're not cookie cutter with your children. So you want to be better as a father, you want to be better. First of all, you need to read, and then you need to become a shepherd. You need to
Wow.
know your flock so that you can minute. Each one is different.
And I like what you said. Not only are each of your children different,
Mhm,
you just said this, that in your relationship with your wife or husband, we're talking about wives now, or we're talking about
mhm.
um your wife might be in a different season
Yep.
than she was 3 years ago.
One,
And if she's in that different season, she is as different as your children. That Mason is different, Nico is different. You understand where I'm coming from? She
Mhm.
could be different in the journey.
Mhm.
And it's not for you to say, I need you to be the same person. It's not for you to say that. And I'm gonna tell you something. I ain't scared to say this, man. That's one of the
Oh my
greatest
God.
mistakes program has ever made, is when I've had that discussion. I say to her, I'm looking for a girl that I was with when we were dating, and she would say to me, I'm not that same girl. So no, whatever it may be, and this may happen to me, but anybody else, we're not supposed to be in our relationships with our wives and even with our children living in nostalgia, right? We're supposed to be journeying to the future. And there's nothing wrong with remembering the good time, but those good times it helps us to remember where God has taken you. But sometimes, man, you're stuck in a place where I want you to be in this place all the time. I want you to always be in this place. And she's like, no, I you want the cocoon, Wendy. I'm
Yeah.
trying to give you the butterfly, Wendy. Oh, you
It,
understand where I'm coming from? And
oh, perfect.
you don't have the patience. Oh,
But
you
that
understand where I'm
happens.
coming
That happens from the jump.
from? Mhm.
Women get into marriage hoping men will change. Men get into marriage hoping women will never change.
Wow. I hate you.
I'm, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it happens from the very beginning. This is the reason why I gotta sit down with Faith. Like I'm in a difficult season with her in terms of perimenopause. Like it's a season that we're in,
It's a tough season, man.
and it's a tough season because
Don't
sometimes, especially
you,
when it's time to,
yes, sir.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When it's time for the, you know what I'm saying? Her body don't agree with her. Her mind is in
No,
one
her body
place, and
don't
her
agree
body,
with you. Her
yeah,
body
it
don't
don't
agree
agree.
with you.
Here's the funny thing: it don't agree with me or her because her mind might be there, but the body is like, nah, we're none of them thing right here. No hot flash,
Right.
we are saying.
I-
We're different hot flash. You know
Yo,
what I'm saying? Like,
I've gotten these. I've gotten these before. Let me show you.
yeah, yeah. Look, yeah, leave me alone
Come
right
on,
now.
man.
You
You know,
causing me
and
to sweat.
older
Like,
men would tell you
yeah,
things like, "Yo, don't be offended."
yeah.
Older men who have passed that would say, "Don't be offended."
Uh,
Yo, I have this one guy. I have a mentor, and well, who basically says your job during
yeah,
that time is to comfort,
that's it.
is to guide, be a loving servant, and sometimes you have to ask yourself, "Uh oh, somebody said you saw that just now, right there."
Yep. Look, Oliver, bring in my youth, yo.
He said, "My man said, nope,
Don't be offended.
don't be offended." And I think men need to realize. I think men, Paul Graham, but men need to realize that that's not the time to be offended. It's the time to understand. Ain't nobody taught me that. Not even my daddy. No one
Right,
taught me that. Remember
right.
what we're taught. Remember what we're taught. We're taught. What we're taught is if that is, and I'm gonna tell you, it's like what my grandmother taught me. If it ain't working, find somebody else.
Ah, nah.
Not my grandfather.
Grandmother says so.
What's your my
Grandma,
grandmother was
bad girl.
what?
You know what's funny about it though?
Mm,
You shouldn't be offended, man. And here's the reason why you shouldn't be offended. It's because the tables turn in another season.
it's turning another season. I'm thankful for that. I'm
But
thankful what
here's
you
the
just said.
funny thing: when
Mm.
we dealing with when the testosterone not testosteroning, you know what I'm saying? When we
Hey,
dealing with, you know what I'm saying? Some of your diets are crazy, and so you're experiencing ED because you're having health complications. Like, and now you got to find ways to get back on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna need her to understand. You're gonna need her whenever you're going through whatever the men go. They call it menopause.
men, men mash up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big up Andrea, because she had me speak one day about, you know what I'm saying, finding Jesus in the midlife crisis, you know what I'm saying? Like, which is foolishness to me, but like, for real, we go through changes as men too, maybe not to that extent, but you're gonna need them to and how they respond to you when you in your crazy season depends on how you treat them in their crazy season. Is it, man?
Yeah, I think again it's important, right?
Yeah, man.
Not to be offended.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we become offended because we want what we want.
Yeah.
And it is true to a certain degree, but this is not what this is about, right? But
Mm-mm.
we feel this way, we get this way because we feel oppressed. It gives me, it gives me my boost. It's my coffee. It's my so and so, whatever. When you got to realize, man, that you're in this together. It's tough when you've got to realize that you're in this together. It is not about you. And sometimes we listen to this thing when Wendy always says it like this. She's like, it's not about you. You know, it's this is the Incredibles. I don't know if you ever seen that. The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, right. When the woman Incredibles, you know, what's her name? I forgot what her name. The stretchy lady.
Yeah,
She says to the husband, "Yo, being incredible is not about you." You know what I'm saying? And shepherds, I hope you're ready for this, right?
Ooh, come on.
When you're a shepherd, it's not about you.
Nope.
All right, it's not about you. Hey, boss, what's going on? What's going on?
Here he go.
Well, you can't, you can't just make a statement and run. Who do you think you are? Say it again.
I definitely was trying to run.
I got you. Get your mic going. I know your mic is deeper than that. Get your mic going.
Good. What's good, fam? You guys good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I'm good over here.
Yeah. Just so
it's good to see y'all, man.
Man, good to see you.
It's good to see you and hear you. It's good to see you and hear you. I just want to can I give a shout out real quick if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Yo, if you're looking for conversations with your wife and husband, there's a great book. Can you just talk a little bit about this book real quick if you don't mind, please?
Absolutely. That has been a catalyst for conversation for so many folks, man. That Have a Conversation Couples Journal is an opportunity for you to engage in conversation, and not just engage in conversation, but to start conversations that would typically not be, you wouldn't be so forthcoming to start, right? And so it gives you an opportunity to use the method of writing, to share your thoughts. And you can see the blue there is his thoughts, the purple is her thoughts, and because we don't want you to do something we haven't done, you see excerpts of us using the journal in the same way that we encourage couples to do it, man. And I've had couples who have gotten this, man. I had a lady who was doing a seminar, and she was like, man, I want to get some for all the couples that are in the seminar. And I had people come back to us and be like, man, we're actually talking more. Like I'm actually anticipating what he's about to write in there, or I'm actually anticipating what she's about to write in there, and we're talking more. So, it's not, it's a tool, right? You go to Home Depot. There's aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of tools. It's a tool, right?
Right.
It works for some people, and if you know how to work it, it will do what you need it to do.
Yo, I didn't bring you on to talk about your book. I just know that. I mean,
appreciate
your
that,
wife
though.
book, but I got to give love.
Come on, man.
I got to give love, man. When you find somebody working on their craft, the truth is, you're not really working on your craft. You're working on your marriage, which has become a craft for others who has broken the craft.
Man,
here's what's crazy about what you just said, right? You don't even know what you just said. There is I was going to say there's a great chance. There is a 100% chance that a significant reason for me even ending up in this space, because the me that you knew, Pizzo,
who you talking to?
You would have never predicted that this is the space that I would be in.
No,
So
No.
100%, there is 100% chance that the reason why I'm so passionate, and I told some guys this, I was in Philly this week. I told them the reason why
You
I'm
didn't hear what
so,
he said. He just, I was telling some guys I was in Philly this week.
and
I
I
I
told
was in
them,
Chicago 2 weeks ago.
here's what I
I
told them
was-
though. I told them that, and we're talking about men and their mental health and bridging the gap, letting your story be known, right? So that it can be an encouragement and a inspiration to others. Typically, I'm not going to say across the board.
Okay.
Typically, the thing you grapple with is the thing God wants to use.
Come
Y'all
on.
have a good night.
Yeah, we'll see you
Have
on
a
that.
blessed evening.
Come
It was
on,
good.
man. Come on,
So
I ain't do
man.
nothing
so
to
now
you.
let me
I ain't
so
did.
now let me tell you why I
Come
said that.
on, brother.
P,
Let
I
me
ain't
tell
do
you why I
nothing.
said that.
Ali, I love to
Come
see
on.
you. I did nothing to you, bro. I didn't do nothing to you.
Let me tell you why I said that. Because
Yeah.
there is a 100% chance that the Lord used this journey to save my marriage. So the passion that people hear in my voice when I get up and speak in front of them and I'm steering them down a certain direction is because I understand what that process looks like. I understand what it means to grapple with being a good husband. I understand what it means to grapple in developing a healthy relationship. I understand what it means to grapple in the way of leadership and what family leadership looks like. I understand what it means to grapple with identity and authenticity and altruism and respect and faith. I know what it means to grapple in all of those areas. And those are the exact things that God has me talking to people about.
Isn't it funny that the very areas that you feel like okay, so I always tell people, Ali, that I think this marriage thing chose me. Like I did not choose it. I ain't choose this.
Well, listen.
Because when it was funny because when I first started dropping vids like in 2017, 2016, somewhere around there, I remember I graduated UNC, and then 2 months after, E was like, "All right, Q, we see the stuff that you're doing. Can you come run? Thank God I'm married." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm only doing this because I'm sharing with people the stuff that I did wrong.
Right,
And
right,
he
right,
would
right, right.
always tell me, because P said it earlier, he would always say, who better to tell people than somebody? Would you want to hear from somebody who married but never been down to that place?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or would you
Right.
like to hear it from somebody who been down there, know where all the spots is at, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, hold on, y'all.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me just
yeah.
say this, right? And y'all can crap on me afterwards. And I can take it. One of the hardest things, man, about pastoring and having that, I don't care if people say that, oh, but I'm an elder. Oh, but I'm a so and so. It's different when you're a pastor.
I don't even
And
say that.
listen, JoJo made a comment, right? She said your mess becomes your message, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult to say you even made a mistake. It's so difficult to say it's so difficult to say that, well, I'm talking about this because here's an issue, right? Take for instance Myron Edmonds. He gets up, he speaks about pornography years ago, right? Years ago, right? You don't really hear him with that now, but years ago. And you know, he will always have a stigma on some idiots who will just be like, oh, and you supposed to be a pastor? You understand where I'm coming from? Okay. But then you got a guy named Devon Irving, right? Who is not a pastor, right? Who has gotten through this situation and he's talking about it. And it's almost like it's better received.
Mm-hmm.
Or you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And so it's frightening sometimes when you say that the issue that you grapple with is there to save you.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I think it's one issue, because you're my roommate, bro. All right, you're my roommate. Right? Then there was something else.
Yeah.
And when you thought you got through that, then it was something else. And you sit there and you bring all of that into a marriage. You bring all of that into a relationship. And you got to say to yourself, well, God, are you using me so that you can heal me? Which means what you're telling me right now, Ali, and straight up, you two Quest, what you're saying to me is that what you're grappling with, you're not healed from it, but you got to preach it.
It's a process.
Paul said, I got a thorn in my side. Could you just
Right.
please take this out of here so I could properly minister? And God's like, yeah, no, you good.
It's a process.
My grace is sufficient.
Yep.
My grace is sufficient for your thorn.
Yep.
My grace is grace.
Oh, what kind of thing is that?
And here's what's crazy, bro. As frustrating as that sounds, right?
Mm.
The truth of the matter is that there are some people who will not be fully healed. They will always be in the process of healing so that they can become a phenomenal guide.
Wow.
That's facts. Because there are also people who will not come into the faith because they feel like you ain't been where I've been.
Exactly.
You ain't experienced what I experienced.
Exactly.
Don't talk. That's the reason why in this season, like on another level, like they're like, yo, how you an elder, but you don't wear no shirt and tie? Go kiss your mama. Yo, I'm not wearing, I'm in a different season.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm in a different season. I don't do that.
Different season.
That's a conversation we were having in Philly because somebody asked the question, like, how are we bridging the gap between the men in how do we get men in the church? How do we get men out of the street and in the church? And we're like, we don't. The reason why we don't is because they can't connect the dots.
Can't.
Because we show them a front that we are healed.
Oh, fake?
Right.
Fake.
But
fake
what they're looking for is the process to healing. So if they don't see the process to healing, they're like, oh, well, that ain't for me.
D, I promise you, they like Q. Like, how is it that you so transparent? Because what you want me to tell you? You tell me what you want me to tell you. Right. And in this season of my life, I'm so free of people. I could care less. Right. But if I don't tell you what I've been through, how will you ever know? Like, not only that, I'm sharing with you that, like, for real, it's okay. You got somebody who will stand here in this place with you because I've experienced, like, you know how it go in church. Like, this is the reason why, like, for P, like, I pray for P all the time because I'm like, man,
listen,
they put you on this thing right here and they act like you can't make no mistake. But what I'm just as am I alien? Like, I'm human.
No,
just like you.
Listen, Ali, we started I'm gonna tell you this right now. These unscripted conversations that we're having right now came out of, I'm gonna tell you, it came out of me calling my man and saying, yo, I gotta get some things right. And we even didn't get on for like 4 or 5 weeks, because I just felt like I got to get some things right. And my man was just like, yo, listen, you know, you may never get anything right. What you talking about? You may never get anything right. And I think that I have dumbed down my marriage, my relationship, my idiosyncrasies. I've dumbed down everything to a pastor's license instead of God understanding my relationship with him. And I think more men, if we had the opportunity to recognize our failings. What's up, boy? What's up, boy? What's up, boy? What's up?
This hour?
What's up, Doc?
If we have the opportunity to discuss our shortfall, then we can later begin to discuss our strengths. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because we don't recognize our strength because we don't talk about our shortfalls. We're not allowed. That's why the men outside of the church ain't coming into the church, because we're not going to have the discussion. We're not going to tell them where we've been, and we're not going to tell them where we are. We're not, which is fake Christianity, not fake friendship, but fake fellowship. And we can't grow with fake fellowship.
I just find it crazy that God used all the whack people to get done. Yo, hold on for a second. Me and Jason O'Rourke was having a conversation this week. You know, Jay, like, read on another level. And we were just discussing the Levites themselves. Them jokers was killers, man.
Oh yes.
And God had to make them jokers priests in order to
In
get
order to
just like check they MO. Yo, this is the law. You break it and we'll kill you.
Right. Let me pause for a second.
What?
I'm gonna ask everyone right now. These numbers are flying. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you right now, if you just share this with 3 to 5 people, we're gonna land a
Yeah, no
plane
doubt.
in about maybe a half an hour. But
Yeah, no doubt.
by 10:30, we're supposed to land it by 10:30, but still, it's getting good. The getting is good. So if you want to share this with 3 to 5 people, just go ahead and do that real quick. And I'm gonna turn my attention over to Dr. Parks. Dr. Parks, how
Come
you
on,
doing,
Dr.
boss?
P.
Hey, I'm all right.
Listen, listen, Dr. Parks, you're not married right now, are you?
Oh man, stop trying to hook me up.
No, well, I'm just saying. Listen, I just want you.
I'm living my best life. Once again, sir, I have been paroled.
Yo, hey,
And ain't no less than
Oliver,
Yeah.
we can't go on the road with that guy.
Listen, I'm
We're,
trying.
we're, we're taking communion. He's bringing in Manischewitz. You know what I'm saying?
If Parks come on the road, I need accountability with me, just in case. I'm easily led astray.
Oh man, I tell you,
be very afraid.
Parks.
All right, man, what's going on? My head is all crooked. I don't even know what's going on with this.
No,
thing.
it's all
What are we
good.
talking about?
No, well, I mean, one of the things that you mentioned just now early before, and I think for each one of us, man, my dog, yo, what's wrong with you, boy? Go frighten me, man.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing to happen to my dog. I need him a little longer. You know what I mean? He's 15 years old. He's gonna be 16. I need him longer. Hey, Parks, if I asked you the question, I mean, especially being divorced, because we talk about divorce, marriage, and so whatever. Number one, would you get married again?
If I did, God would literally have to come down and tell me, this is going to be your wife.
Wow.
Because when I talk about, when I look at all the things I did, remember the last time we had this conversation, I was like, my dad not being in my life turned me into who I was. So you're trying to do everything, you see what I'm saying, that you were supposed to do, that you thought you were doing. So my ex came from a 2-parent household. I didn't. So she knew what that looked like. I didn't. And my mom had to do everything. And so, I think somebody was in here talking about broken people attract broken people. Well, guess what? A lot of times, us as men who grow up in single parent households with just their mom, we're attracted to broken women because we were always trying to fix mom. Hey, mom, look what I did. Hey, mom, look what I did for you at school today. Hey, mom, I can get that for you. Hey, mom, let me do this, whatever. And mom is either sad or whatever. And so you're trying to still fix mom. And so you're attracted. And so my ex was broken in ways that I had to go to, that I found out in my own therapy. A lot of people say, you a therapist. Well, here's the thing that people don't understand. We as therapists need therapists as well. You see what I'm saying? I can sit in here and you can come to see me in couples therapy and I can give you the best advice possible. But my stuff at home is falling apart. And people don't understand that. Why? Because I'm emotionally tied to my stuff. I'm not emotionally tied to yours. So I can go out here and say all of this stuff, and then I go home and I try to practice it. But guess what? I can't because I'm emotionally tied to it. And then I remember it was funny. It was not funny then. But I remember when I'm trying to see what the issue is. And I realized the issue wasn't me per se. It was the person I was dealing with. See, you'll never be happy until you stop being selfish. You will never be happy until you stop being selfish. And that was the issue. That was the issue. And so the deal is, I remember when she said to me, stop trying to use on me what you use on your clients. And I had to sit back and say, this is my skill set. This is what works. And so you want me to take off my therapy hat and just go raw dog, you know, that ain't gonna be good either. So I'm trying to stay within you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. You know, Parks, when I think about some of the things that you're saying, and I came from a 2-parent home, right? I know, Ali, you came from a 2-parent home. Hold on one second. Hey, Jimmy, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
No, it's good. It's good. I know you in the car, so you know.
What's up, bro?
I'm trying to tell you. Just keep your ears open just for a moment. Just keep your ears open for just for a moment. Ali, wait, Ali, you lived in a 2-parent. I mean, you came from a 2-parent home. And Quest, you came from a matriarch home.
Yeah, I came from a 5-woman home.
A 5-woman home. All right. Almost said something. I don't know, buddy. But what's crazy about this is I'm gonna say it wasn't our formative years. Ali, would you say that we met each other in our formative years? Is that formative years? 19, 20, well, I was 25. So 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Is that formative years?
It could be coming down to the end of it.
Okay. There is no way that I can imagine you. Man, I hope your wife don't kick my living behind. I would never think of you changing. And you my boy. And you yeah. Oh, you said me either?
Me either.
Yo.
I mean, I tell the story everywhere I go. I told her before we got married that I was not going to change. She could tell you that to this day. We were at dinner.
You see?
And I was like, I'm never going to change. And I would prefer that you don't either.
You see what I'm saying, P?
We just talked about that.
Women get into marriage hoping men will change, and men get into marriage hoping women will not.
Yep.
So can I jump here?
Go ahead.
So this is kind of what I in my history of doing mental health and therapy and whatnot. And I've come to this realization that people don't change, their circumstances do.
Oh.
Okay.
Can they change? Yes. But people are unwilling to change because that requires what? Them to shift and pivot in places they don't want to be. And so what we do is we find ourselves doing the familiar. See, this is what you got to understand. Your personality is formed at a very early age. 5, 6, 7, 8, around that. That's your personality. And so what happens is this: you out here and you live in your life, and then bam, all of a sudden somebody else comes in. And so now what's happening? We start dating, and then what happens? Then we get married, and then there's kids, and then there's a mortgage or a car note. And you see what's happening? You guys are doing what? You guys are operating within what's happening around you, but you guys are still the same. You're still the same. So guess what? What happens is when some people say, well, wait a minute, he doesn't do that anymore, or he doesn't do that. Yeah, but it's still there. It's still there. It's still in where? Your subconscious. And there's some things that you guys have probably not experienced or may have from your spouses that you would, if you get to that point to where you're like a divorce, you'd be like, oh my God, I never thought she would be that way. I never thought she would do that or whatever, because there's a certain part in her and you that never brought that out. You see what I'm saying?
So what brings? So
My
what?
grandmother used to say, if it ain't in you, it ain't gonna come up out of you. You see what I'm saying?
So then, see, I don't like. See, the reason why that bugs me out is because you when you say that, Parks, it makes me feel like I can't change.
You can, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to change. And a lot of people are not. What you find is people's circumstances do, and they adapt and adjust around what's happening to them. And it looks like change, but it's actually not. You ever see when they talk to old pimps and old, drug dealers?
Hey, be careful, be careful.
And they be like,
we
yeah, and they start to salivate. It's
yeah,
still there.
it's still in them.
It's still there.
Okay, I know that my man.
Oh man,
I got you.
They see, smell, whatever is placed into where? It's placed into our subconscious. You see what I'm saying? And that's where all of our experiences, repressed material, and all of that lie. Our subconscious is a huge filing cabinet. You know how you can open up a Excel spreadsheet and it goes forever? That's your brain. Your subconscious is holding everything that you've ever experienced, repressed material. All of that's in there. And until something does what? Trigger it, it comes back.
That's where the soul is. Remember what we said.
Yeah.
Your spirit can't hold a secret your behavior won't reveal.
You better believe it. You better believe it. Hey, Parks, she sounds like you need a wife because you sound messed up over there, and you sound like you need a release. You know.
Well,
Okay, I'm okay. Hey, listen, Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, Jimmy, I know that. How long you been married now? How long you been married?
8 years.
Okay, and you were married before, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, how did you have to change? How did you have to change in getting married again? What was the change you had to make in being married, in getting married again? Oh, wait, is she driving you?
That's fine, but she's fine. We talk.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Because I don't want to get beat down. I don't want you to get thrown out at the nearest McDonald's. You know what I mean?
No, I got
blink twice. Need help.
Blink twice. Blink.
But this
Go ahead.
This is my third marriage.
Okay.
The first two, I was no good for the women that I was married to.
Wow.
I was a mama's boy and didn't know it. And I didn't know. So I know we talked about growing up in matriarchal homes and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw my wife, trying to learn how to lead after you coming out of that, seeing my mother being a single mother and she's raising two boys, I didn't see anything emasculating at the time to defer to a woman.
Wow.
And so having women that had mothers that were single mothers and they're strong, what I had to change was stop deferring all the time.
Wow. But Parks was saying almost the same thing. So when you say deferring, right? What do you mean? What do you mean by that in your change for her now?
So I'm comfortable leading and making decisions. Where before I would defer whatever decision making and let it fall on her, instead of taking the accountability and and taking the responsibility as the lead of the house.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Were you saying? Hold on. I'm sorry, Quest. Were you saying something, Quest, just now?
No. I was just saying that like for real. I want us to be careful. I mean, whatever our situation is in our homes, just realize that there's some wiring, and a lot of the times we think that men are the only decisive people in the home. You have some women who are very decisive.
Absolutely.
Right? They know exactly what they want. E and Dee is a perfect example. Like Dee Dee's a very decisive chick, right? but the decisions that he can make, she don't want him, even though she's very decisive and she makes good decisions, she also understands that there's certain areas where he don't make good decisions. But because he don't make good decisions in those areas, don't mean that he don't make good decisions in a couple of other areas as well. We're just, okay, these decisions you leave alone and you leave to me, and I'll take care of them, because I don't want to make these decisions and those as well. But because I become overburdened.
I'm gonna get to you, Phil, and Ali. Let me just say this. What I'm hearing Jimmy say is that he wasn't leading at all.
Yeah.
And what we talked about earlier,
that's exactly what it was.
Right. You wasn't leading at all. And what we were talking about earlier, and also last week, Phil, was, what is your wife looking for? Is she looking for, I mean, you're driving right next to her. Is she looking for a priest? Is she looking for a shepherd? Or is she looking for both? I mean, you can ask her right now. I don't mind we getting the answer right now from her. A priest, a shepherd, or both?
A priest, a shepherd, or both?
Definition of sheep.
Huh?
What's the definition?
I said a shepherd. You said a shepherd or a priest, right?
Yes, or both.
She said a both. She said both.
Both. And that's what we said, Phil. Last week, Phil, you were saying
most.
Yeah. You can pick one, but you got to be both.
Yep.
And that's where the stress is. I think that's where the stress is, because now that you are, listen, man, the stress is on you, Jimmy. If she has chosen you as third, you got. Man, I know she's right there, man. But you boy, you got a lot to live up to, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and learning how to now deal with that is my task. It's learning how to navigate that now, to be both.
Okay.
Either or, but both and.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now we come in full circle, P. Because remember how this whole thing started. We said, what is it as men that we could do better? Here's the funny thing I want us to realize. When we say we do better, the first thing we always say is, what could we do better for the relationship? That's our trend of thought.
Okay.
But a relationship is only as strong as its least developed individual. So the first thing that you could do is make sure that you tight work before you make the relationship tight work. As a matter of fact, the relationship, like for real, the better you become as an individual, the better the relationship comes.
Okay.
So we said, because here's the thing, you said the stress lies for us trying to figure out how to be both the priest and the shepherd. I'm telling you, I know a lot more about being the priest. The shepherd was where I was running into problems. But what we'll do is we'll sit there and legit pray, God, I need you to help me be a better shepherd. Okay, good. And God flashes a book in front of you. And we still struggling with, God, help me be a better shepherd. Information applied changes situations.
Information applied. In other words, as Ali always says, you got to put the work in.
You got to put the work in. God just ain't going to
put the work in.
And that's our problem, because we think just because I'm praying about it that God just going to drop it in my lap. Like, no, bruh. I flashed the book. Okay. God make trees. He don't make chairs.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to sit for a moment. God make trees. He don't make chairs.
Come on now.
I gave you once. Can we go back to the beginning again? Be fruitful.
Yeah.
Multiply.
Yeah.
Not just have babies. Fruit of your lips, fruit of your mind, fruit of your hands, fruit of your work. What fruit can you produce with all the things that I've blessed you with? I ain't gonna do it for you, but when you start working, I'll bless it.
Okay.
So if you come across this book that's going to give you this information, read through the book, get the information, and then once you get the information, God, show me how I need to apply this. And come on.
Okay, I'm gonna throw something at Phil real quick, and then I'm gonna go back to Ali.
Yeah.
Phil, straight off, right? And yo, plead the fifth if you have to, because you're not sleeping at my house. All right, so
not on the couch, bro.
No, no. Getting married, and I'm gonna say this right. I'm comparing. I don't care. Y'all can. I'm comparing. Your wife is beautiful. And when I mean beautiful, she's a beautiful person inside. And her daughter, I'm talking about her daughter, your daughters, your children coming together. What we call it again, Phil? It's a
Blended family.
blended family. What's
Yeah.
your biggest fear in doing this thing again? Because you had to be better than you were before. You had to be. What was your biggest fear? At least your biggest fear. And I also want you to maybe have to think about this. Not only what was your biggest fear, but what is your greatest strength in your marriage?
Biggest fear. Just, going into second time.
I just want to pause. I just want to pause. Quest. Everybody on here with beards, they sit the same way. Can you see that? Do you see that? You see that, right? They sit the same way. All those with beards, all those who have little tiny goatees, like me, Jimmy, you. We're up and we're moving around. But the other three
this week,
the other three with the Abraham beards, they kind of sit and slouch like their beards are heavy. I'm going to ask you to go ahead, Phil, and answer that question, if you will. Your greatest strength.
Why do I feel like I'm at MV and they're telling me to use my outside voice and sit up and whatever? Oh, wait a minute. I went MV. That's old school.
And I don't like that Phil beard is full black. I don't like that at all.
No.
What is that, velvet?
What is that? Go ahead, Phil. Phil. Hit us.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm watching myself on TV, y'all, by the way. I don't know if y'all can see.
Yes.
This is Fox 5 right now, Fox 5 DC. So
okay. That's what's up.
I just graduated from Citizens Police Academy. Citizens Police Academy. I don't know if y'all know, I'm a police chaplain.
Let's go.
So Pat was just calling because he's like, "Yo, I see you on TV." So this is I'm trying to record the, but I have it recorded upstairs too.
Okay, as long as we're not getting in the way.
No.
Of because sometimes when our spouse sees our accomplishments, it becomes a great night.
Hey, listen, yeah, for sure.
It's a celebratory situation.
No, so let me just answer the question. Greatest fear, making the same bad decisions again.
Okay. Okay.
And then, of course, you have to get it right. The next time you're trying your best to get it right the next time.
Absolutely.
And thank God I can rest assured I got it right the next time. But even with that, it still takes work in a blended family. I'll just say that, it takes work. There's a lot that goes into that, a lot of variables, a lot of ins and outs of this. But you just gotta be patient and give it time and let God work. Like if your foundation is prayer, then you can trust the process. And I'm not saying that as a cliche. I'm saying it as real as I can be, because there's times I don't feel like praying. But if the foundation is prayer, and the foundation is what you need it to be, through that and work, prayer, work, faith, you got to give it time, because even some of the things that you feel are going wrong, it could go wrong for a minute, but if you trust the process, it'll turn itself around.
Trust the process.
So that's been the greatest strength, is just prayer, trusting the process. You got your strain, you got your pain, you got your, hey, is this gonna what's gonna happen here? And at the end of the day, you just kind of stay on course.
I got you. Hey, I got you, Ali. How do you? I don't know. I've read. I'm sorry, man. I only read like half of your book, but I bought it because you're my man. So
appreciate you.
What are the give us strengths that we as men can, at least two, that we can as men have to be better for the relationship. Remember what we said differently from last week, but be better for the relationship. How can we be better for the relationship? Just drop two gems of how we can be better for the relationship.
Quest said one, and I'll say it the way that I say it in the book. You should not demand what you haven't first developed. So there's some work that you got to do.
Oh my gracious!
Come on.
Oh man!
And Quest talked about that, right? He said your relationship is only as strong as the most underdeveloped person, right? So part of the
AP, how your mouth feel?
part of the journey to
really seeing,
part of the journey to really seeing some level of movement is creating that level of movement in yourself.
Ooh, yeah.
And often we get into a scenario looking for how the scenario will benefit us as opposed to how much will we develop in order to benefit the scenario.
Okay. Wow. See, that's that word again. That's that word again. Development. We can't run from that word again. Development.
Can't run from it. The biggest mistake I made in the beginning of our marriage is that I had a list of things that I needed, wanted, desired, demanded from her.
My.
And I wasn't none of those things.
Wow.
I'm looking for her. I'm looking for her to have some level of integrity. I have none. I'm looking for her to be trustworthy. I'm not.
Ali, it's wild because whenever I'm coaching premarital now, right, and they talking about in separate, sometimes I'll ask to meet with them independently, and when I'm with the males, I write down the chick that you looking for, the chick you want. And they start writing, she got to look like this, and she got to do this, and she got to do this, and all of these different things. Yep. And then I tell her, what kind of dude does she want? All those things that you wrote down about her on this piece of paper, what kind of dude does she want? And then you become that dude, and then you'll attract that chick.
Well, how about what if we don't know what she wants?
And that's the reason why personal development is important. You have to know what you want first before you make the decision about who you want to do life with. Okay. That's why there's so many of these marriages running around here with trouble, because when you are not developed, you're going to pick somebody who's a reflection of who you are spiritually. You pick somebody that's just as undeveloped as you are. Because once again, you can't make a decision out of a place that you ain't never been.
You're right. You're right again. Parks, you sitting up. What's your problem?
Well, what I'm hearing is what Oliver is saying and what Quest is saying, and it really is, taken out of therapy. You see what I'm saying? Some of what I'm hearing, like a relationship is basically controlled by the weakest person.
What in the world did this guy just say?
By the weakest.
It's facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's controlled by the weakest person in that relationship. The weakest person is going to control everything that's going on. Okay, because they feel like they have no control, and so they try to exert that. You see what I'm saying? What Quest said, they split people up. I do that all the time because some people can't share with the other person there. They can't be themselves. Now, here's another thing too that Quest was talking about. What are you looking for? And I asked this in my women's domestic violence classes and my men's domestic violence classes. And they will say, I said, tell me some things you're looking for when you're looking for a partner. And so naming off all of this stuff, and I'll write it all down on the board. And then I'll cross a big X between all of it. I said, because all of this is trash. Okay. Because I call them the 3 S's plus 1. Okay. You may want to call it the 4 S's. I call it the 3 S's. What are you looking for? Okay. What the basis of a trusting relationship is what? Okay. I have to be able to trust you in this relationship. can't trust, there is no relationship. Trust is the basis of, so here's the thing. I call them the 3 S's. 1, okay, safety. You see what I'm saying? Safety. Am I safe in this relationship? Can I share my feelings and emotions with you? Will I be shut down if I did? And you say to me, you know, you sound like a girl or you sound like a bee, depending on who you're dealing with. I need a strong man up here. But to be able to share with you and emote, that's strong. That's strength.
Yes, it is.
I'm coming to you. If I can't feel safe in this, I can't feel like, you know, I can't go in there like, man, you're going to put your hands on me. You know, we're going to fight about something. Safety. The second word, shelter. Okay, shelter. Am I providing a proper home for my family? Or every day I come in like, oh, we may as well pack the bag because you done lost another job. You know, we can't even, you know, we can't even stay. What kind of man? Who are you? Every time we look, we getting evicted, we moving out. Or when you walk in, it smells like home. There's cooking going on and pine salt, whatever you using, and the kids are like all in order. That's safety, shelter. And then the support. There's nothing sexier than support in your relationship.
Yeah.
Baby, I think I want to go back to school. Oh, okay. What's going on? Tell me what that's about. Right. Not go back to school for what? You ain't do nothing but walk around up there for 4 years anyway. They just let you out. You know? And when guys challenge that, what they're really saying is, who's going to take care of me? Who's going to take care of that? Hey, baby, I think I want to start a business. Okay, well, tell me about it. You got a business plan? What we doing? What's going on? Safety, shelter, and support. Now, notice, I never said sex.
Wow.
I never said sex. Why? Because if you providing them the right way, you're going to get more than you can shake a stick at. Ask any woman.
Hey, P, what did we say?
Women, here's the thing. You ever try to get some woman and things ain't right in the house? Get off me, man. They're talking about coming to get that car tomorrow. You got a plan? How you gonna get? Dang, baby. I mean, we can't worry about it now. And you trying to get you some. Yeah, they talking about they coming out here. You know, they gonna turn off the electricity tomorrow. How you go? When a woman, this is why people be making babies when they go on vacation, because the woman is so relaxed. There's no stress. There's none of that. But when you come back, it's like you worried about this. You worried about that. I got to do this. Like. I asked the question earlier about what do we need to do to be better. What I think is men need to stop creating trash men, create trash women who create trash men.
Lordy,
Lord have
mercy.
Say it again.
Trash women who create trash men. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. You got guys out here that are paying women for. You see what I'm saying? That to the point where nobody figures, I don't need to work. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do whatever. Now, in my, you asked me, you know, about getting married again or whatever the case may be. Dude, if I do that, that interview process is going to be hell. I'm just telling you. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be hell. And so it's like, you need to take a break. Okay, let's take 5 and come back and we're going to pick it up here. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be that way because the deal is I know now what you see what I'm saying? And I'm not sponsoring anyone.
Yeah.
I got what you just said. I got what you just said. I'm not coming in this to sponsor someone.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
This right here is a marriage. And the thing is this, not do you love me? Do you like me? You see what I'm saying? Do you like me? Like comes before love, even in the dictionary. L-I-K-E-L-O-V-E. I gotta like you before I love you. Do you like me? Because you know, everybody on here know when you like somebody, you go to bat for them. You see what I'm saying?
That's
you go
right.
to bat for somebody you like. Love is kind of like Yeah, okay, yeah, I love you. The Bible says I love you, so I love you. I love you. We throw that word around, and we really don't know what it means, because if it shows up, you would actually be afraid of it. You would actually be afraid. Whoa, I don't know if I want to do all of that, because that requires what? Some dying to self daily. And people are not ready. You asked about change. I'm gonna give you two things, and then I'm gonna get off this soapbox. Making gradual change, okay? Change is more often gradual than dramatic. So everybody on here, I want you to think of a problem you have. And you ain't got to share it with me, but just think about it. And for the listening audience, think of a problem that you have. Think of a problem that you have. What behaviors would other people notice you doing if that problem was less severe or even resolved?
Okay.
What behaviors would they see you doing if that problem? So start practicing the behaviors now to kickstart that change process. You asked about it, so I'm gonna tell you how you change. Okay, start doing that. Things like going for a walk if you're feeling depressed. You know, initiating conversations if you have social anxiety. Call up friends that you haven't talked to, family you haven't talked to in a while. You know, and reaching out to those people with you when you feel isolated. The second one is the exception rule. Okay, now this is going to help for positive change. It's going to help kickstart that. Think about a time in your life, okay, back in your history or whatever, you know, to when you did, let me see, think about what healthy behaviors, okay, did you do when life was going good? What healthy behaviors were you doing when life was going good? Yes. Man, do more of those behaviors now. Do more of those behaviors now. When life was going good, what were you doing? Okay.
Okay.
Following through with a schedule, practicing, you know, self-care behaviors. This is Men's Mental Health Month. You know, plugging into social support. This right here is social support. I hate when I miss it. I'm like, dang, I missed them guys the other night. Okay. So in other words, do more of what works. Do more of what works. Stop yielding to the familiar, which didn't work for you back then. It ain't working. Stop doing the familiar.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just chime in here. Went to the doctor's office and had a glowing report, right? And you know, right away you get a good report. One of two things you can do after that is go get some junk food and be like, yeah, I'm free. Or you can be like, man, I need to stay on track with this, right? So if you see your marriage going well in the things that you're doing, then you want to stay on track with that. And you just keep it's a motivator to keep going. Like grace is a motivator to keep doing the right thing and to keep growing in that relationship. So, you know, many times people are scared of giving people grace. They're scared, especially in the church. They're scared to preach grace because they feel like it's an excuse to mess up again. No, it's a motivator. Because if you got a good report and you start to see the benefits, then you want to keep going. So I just wanted to chime in what Terry was saying.
Wow. Awesome. Jimmy, only because we got 10 more minutes. Listen, Jimmy, if this is a question we asked 2 weeks ago and this week, but you know, you knew on the board right now. You knew on the board. If there's anything you could do better in your relationship right now, what would it be?
Communicate.
Wow.
Communicate. I still have struggles with communicating. And some of it has to do with when you've placed yourself to be vulnerable and that vulnerability has been abused or used previously. And there have been moments in the current situation that happens. Yeah. You tend not to want to jump out there to communicate. You rather deal with the comfort of just having to keep it in than having to deal with the battle on the outside. So if I could do better, is to be able to communicate. And talking is not the only avenue of communicating.
Right.
Listening is an active part of communication.
Yeah.
And being able to learn. So I did this thing with Elliot Brooks in terms of finding out about you, and it's a color code temperament test or something like that, a personality test.
Just wait. Just pick up Elliot Brooks for a moment, if you don't mind. He is where at this point?
He is in Chicago, in Lake Region.
Right. Okay. And he pastors out there, doesn't he?
He pastors out there, but he also does leadership stuff and stuff.
Gotcha. Please go ahead.
So in it, part of what I learned about myself is, and I find myself doing it after he mentioned it, that I interrupt while people are talking. And so I learned that I have to shut up sometime to be, I got to not, and I'm saying it like that, but I just have to learn to listen. And part of my communication issue is not just saying it, but also listening to the response to be able, and not just hear the response, but listen to the response. So I can find out the root cause of whatever is affecting that person around me, my wife, my kids, and all of that. So communication, that's my biggest thing. Communication, both outward and listening. That's what I could do better.
I got you. I'm sorry, family. We got about 9 minutes left, and I want everyone to answer this, if you don't mind. Even you, stinking Quest. All right. I want to. All right. I want to start with Ali because that's my roomie. You know, will always be my roomie. Let's put it that way. You know, and I like ending on stuff like this because I think it helps us to prepare for the next. You know what I'm saying? I love the gems. I love hearing the gems, you know, from Dr. Phil. I love hearing the gems from Parks online or on whatever. Jimmy, it's good to have you on today, you know, with us. And, you know, Ali, he has a room in our house. you know, it always has a room in our house. And I want to say it this way, and you can always plead the fifth. Getting married to the person that you're married to right now, and Parks, maybe you can go back to when you were married, or if you'd get married again. Do you find it difficult to pray with your spouse? If not, listen again. If you don't find it difficult, what do you do? If you find it difficult, why don't you do? Is that all right, family? Because now I want to be clear, right? Because you know, I am in therapy. All right, I do have a counselor. In fact, I have two. Okay, and I'm trying to navigate a lot of things, and people may not know this, and I'm going to reveal it now. That the reason for Unscripted Conversations with Quest, and now and with anybody that comes on, I learn. Every week I learn something. So this is not about y'all. Every time I ask a question, it is not about y'all. This is about what did you say it again? Ali, when you struggle with something,
the thing that you quite often, the thing you grapple with is the thing God wants to use.
Gotcha. And I know my grapple. So
I don't know if you could use what I grapple with. No, I'm just playing.
All right, I'm gonna and Quest. I'm gonna end with you. I'm gonna start with Parks. So Parks, when you were married, what? Oh, I'm sorry with Ali. I'm sorry. I'll start with Ali. Then I get to you, you riffraff. All right, here we go. Love you guys. I'm trying to tell you, man. You don't understand. I go to bed like, whoo. Okay. Ali, go ahead, Ali. You first.
So in this season of my life, it is not as difficult as it has been.
Okay.
There were times where it was very difficult, and the reason why it was very difficult is because, again, going back to what I just said, can't demand something you haven't developed. If my prayer life is trash, right, and I ain't praying that well, I definitely can't pray with nobody else. Right. So, and there were some other factors that I won't get into as well. But in this season, it is not as difficult now. What has helped that one is I am my relationship, the intentionality that I'm putting into my relationship with God is much better than it's been.
I understand.
In times past. That's number one. Okay. Number two, my wife is extremely supportive. One of her most important emotional needs is that she wants to be led into the presence of God.
Wow.
And I have been notoriously not good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I suck at that.
Now, however, she has never kicked me in the head about it.
I got you. I have to say the same thing.
I love it.
I have to say the same thing. I appreciate it. And, you know, shout out to Denise. Sorry. Shout out to Denise. Shout out to Denise.
That's the definition of a help me though, man.
For real. Help meet your heart.
So much so, P. So much so, P. And I'm done after this. So much so, there are moments where I know that she can recognize the apprehension. And she will kick in and be like, all right, I'll pray.
Got you. I got you.
So that it happens.
I got you. Have mercy. Have mercy. Yo, I want to say this. Someone said the one on parole, it should be next. I gotta be you.
Yeah. All right. So let me get the question again.
It's when you were married. Now yours is probably different, but when you were married, did you find it difficult to pray with your wife? Or if you get married again, for you, it's probably a little bit different. When you get married again, will you find it difficult to pray with your wife, or do you think that's something that you would want to do? And if not, what was so difficult about it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I didn't find it at all difficult to pray. You know, I've always been taught that, you know, I'm a son of a colporteur, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, which is, you know, French for peddler of religious books. But that I was always told to pray. But what I did find myself doing was kind of like, man, this ain't working. What am I praying for? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, come on, man, you know, kick in. What's the deal? And so I remember when I was going through it, you know, and of course the prayers intensified, you know, and when it didn't happen, you know, for me, I was like, wow, maybe this person is holding me back from where I'm trying to go. And maybe I'm being shown that this person can't go where you're trying to go or where I'm trying to take you.
Okay.
Where I'm trying to take. And I will say this, I will share this. There was the getting involved with tarot cards and crystals and, you know, burning, you know, sage and being dressed in all black like the Omen. Somebody don't know where that line is from.
I know what that is.
Oh, come on.
I know what that is. Come on, bro.
Hey, we all hip hop heads here.
We all hip hop heads here, bro.
Lil Kim, stop playing.
You already know what it is.
All right.
Dressed in all black like the Omen. So you're no man.
For your homie. When you know it. Right, but anyway, what I'm saying is I find it, you know, for a while, it was like I just kind of like was like, what's the use, you know? And I remember my mom, God rest her soul, always saying, you know, just pray, continue to pray. Whatever happens, just pray, you know. And we all know the scriptures, you know, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Pray without ceasing, you know, whole thing. And so we didn't have a problem praying. We didn't, you know, just like I was, you know, bring the kids together. She wasn't born, you know, in the faith. And so she joined and she saw what was going on. It was all positive. However, there were some other things that were going on, and you got to talk about that. But there was a whole lot. So I figured I had to look at it this way because, you know, in my therapy and everywhere, I found out what the issue was, you know, and it wasn't that I was, let me give you this quick example. Anybody on here ever almost drowned before? Nobody. Okay, so here you go. I'm gonna give you. In a bad relationship, both people are guilty. You see what I'm saying? To the demise of. Both people are guilty. However, the person who is not the antagonist is involved in behaviors that are actually survival strategies. Okay? They're survival techniques. Now, my man here said he almost drowned. When you're drowning, you're reaching and grabbing for everything that ain't working, that's trying to keep you afloat. But the water just keeps coming in your mouth and you keep grabbing things and they're bad, but it's a survival. I'm trying to breathe. And that is this garbage that's coming from the other side. It's not good, but you're trying to survive. And these are behaviors that you probably wouldn't ever see. That's where I was doing things there, window, went to the familiar, trying to do whatever, and I'm drowning, and this is still, and you're grabbing things that don't work. That's what it's like in a bad relationship when you are not the one but you're trying to make it work and make it last and do whatever. That's what it's like in a relationship. But both people are contributing to the demise of, because and so when I talk about, prayer and the whole nine, that has to be incorporated with, what I'm saying? I don't do faith-based therapy. However, when people bring that in, then I feel free to go ahead and open up. You know what I'm saying? And then we can talk about that. And like I had a therapy session with a couple, and they just seem to be so stuck. I don't think I'm the therapist for you guys. I don't. I've given you everything, and you're not using it. And this guy was in the seminary, okay? And I said, every week we're coming here and it's the same thing. Something's not, you have to. And when I finished and I quoted some scripture and I was giving examples, this man prayed after the session. He prayed after the session, and before you know it now, our sessions are like this, and they're going, hey, listen, because everywhere, we had a good, well, 1 week is good, then the next week is down. 1 week is up. And I'm just like, I'm at a loss. And I said, I need to refer y'all out, but they didn't want to go. So it's like, well, then you know what? You guys said it earlier. You gotta work. If you're not gonna work, I've given you and Ali, and Pastor, and Quest, I can give you all the tools to build this house. But if you don't go in that toolbox and open it up and start working, it ain't gonna never get built. It's never gonna get built.
I got you. So based on that, I'm gonna switch Jimmy's question. Sorry, Jimmy. How important is prayer in your relationship? And this is personally in your relationship. Do you think you're great at it? Do you think, first of all, how important is prayer in your relationship? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you do with it?
Well, prayer is essential. How do I do? I think I'm an 8.5.
Wow. Okay.
I think I'm an 8.5. There are moments where I don't pray, and that's when all hell seems to break loose. But even there are moments when I do pray and hell still breaks loose, but I'm more calm. I'm calm about it because I'm prepared for it. It's like going out in the rain and you get caught in a thunderstorm when you didn't take the umbrella.
Wow.
But then when you take the umbrella, when the storm comes, you might still get a little bit of wet by you, but at least you and you're prepared for it. So I think I'm an 8.5. I could do better in terms of praying, and also I don't have a problem praying with my wife. I don't have a problem.
I got you.
And because of me not having the problem, it's encouraged her to pray more. So there have been moments when I've been broken from pastoring. That joint will break you.
That joint will break you.
So she see me sitting on the side of the bed, lost. not wanting to go preach that Sabbath,
Wow.
not want to get up, not want to go to the board meetings, not want. She's seen me. She's seen me in those moments, and there are now moments that she'll just rub my back and start praying, and I'm crying, trying to get through it, but she's praying, and so I believe it's helped her to show that I'm going to pray regardless. I'm going to pray, but there are moments when I can't get the strength to pray, and she'll pray with me and pray for me.
Yo, I appreciate the candor. I appreciate the candor in that, man. I appreciate that. Phil.
You know, prayer is easier in my home as we have grown together. And I've realized my wife is a prayer warrior in her way. And, you know, it has just been a blessing. You know, we pray all the time, but there's times, you know, we'll pray with the kids, you know, and there are sometimes we miss the mark on praying with each other, but it's still easy. It's not a hard thing. It's just a life thing. But both of us, I've seen, you know, our growth in getting up early in the morning and just communicating with God. And, you know, when I see her doing it, it's a blessing, you know. And you know, I'm encouraged to check in. You know, this is how I check in with God in the morning. God, I'm about to open my eyes. You know, let me not reach for that phone first. You know what I mean? let me check in with you, because the moment I reach for that phone, even just to check the time, it's messed up. You know, so there are times I just have to kind of leave the phone, go downstairs, leave the phone alone, and you know, pray. But you know, I would say in our relationship, it's very essential. But I would say, you know, there's always room for improvement. I don't see any way that there's not room for improvement. And that's
You
why
know,
I'm glad.
hey Jimmy, he ain't give no number, you know, Jimmy. he ain't
Also,
give
give a number. You
no,
know,
no, 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 no,
and
no, no,
look,
no, 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 no. You good, you good.
no, I mean, you know, like I said, when it's going good, it's going good, and when it's not, you know, it's just like it's a reminder, yo, get back on that. Pray with your wife. Pray, you know, get back on that, and let's make this right.
I got you. Yo, I was supposed to cut out everybody after. So, you know, after they finish their statements. So I'm gonna just say this. Parks, thank you for your statement, man. Thank you for your candor. Thank you for being real. Thank you for
Anytime.
and I'm gonna say I'm not talking about everybody else. Thank you for helping me tonight. Thank you for helping me tonight. Let me put it that way. Ali, always a great word. Always a great word. And I'm thankful that, you know, we're not here to embarrass families. We're not here to put anybody in no doghouse, but it's nice to have a brother in the house. And I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate
Indeed,
you
man.
much.
Yeah,
Much
we
Peace,
ain't
love,
bro.
bro.
having.
You got it. You got it. Phil, I like that. You know, wife is a prayer warrior. You always got something to say. And I really think that one of the hardest things as a pastor, I say the same thing about Jimmy. One of the hardest things about pastoring is to lead a flock and lead home.
That's it.
And so I know, well, I didn't get to say bye to Jimmy. So let me do it this way. Jimmy. So Phil, I just want you to know that thank you for that. Thank you for that gem that
Yeah.
that prayer needs to happen. And to start out that day, get off that phone for a second, right? Get off that phone for a second. And we know as pastors, I'm gonna get to Jimmy last. As pastors, sometimes we look at our schedules first before we look at our we look at our schedules first before we look at God's expectations from us. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, brother, and thanks for teaching me tonight. Appreciate you. Jimmy, prayer is essential. That's what I heard you say.
That's it.
That's what I heard you say.
Yes, sir.
That prayer is essential. And I'm gonna say this to you, that 8, you remember that old show that said 8 is enough? I don't know if
What?
you remember that. 8 is enough.
Come on, man.
When you are so low on the totem pole, when it comes to that, 8 is enough.
It is
Okay.
enough.
8 is enough. thank you for joining me tonight, brother. I appreciate you, man. I know you took some time out. I know you're doing some running, but again, thank you, bro. Love you much.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Just let me know.
You got it. You
All
got it. And so I just simply want to also share with everyone that it is always easy to have an unscripted conversation when you're just talking about necessary things, true things, and great things. Again, I want to shout out to my daughter. She's been all night. I don't know why I couldn't get the comments up, man. All the comments died. It was all on social media, but I didn't see it here on the stream.
Yeah.
But I got to shout out my daughter. Awesome, like my daughter. My daughter's awesome, and I want to thank her for always being on and pushing me while I'm doing something like this. So, Quest.
Yeah, man.
Prayers.
Prayer for me in this season has been just a little different, right?
Okay.
It's never been an issue here. One of the things I've been fairly decent at is learning the lessons from my previous marriage and moving into this marriage. My only problem with prayer in this season is not that I don't know it in theory. I have to know it in application, because that's where it counts.
Okay.
And that is, prayer is not a system by which I make my wants and wishes known. It is, but it's more about hearing from God. And the reason that I say that is I feel in my spirit sometimes God saying to me, seek my face before you seek the works of my hands. You feel me?
I feel
and so yeah, it's like one of those friendship before benefits kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's important, because God said you done lived so much of your life through that foolishness with women in terms of seeking benefits before friendship, right? And he's like, save that foolishness for somewhere else, because that's not how I operate.
Right.
And so that's what I've learned. Now my kids, like Nico is 11. He's about to be 12 in October. Mason just turned 8 in April, and they still on, can you come tuck me in? What tuck me in means for them is coming in and make sure that we say prayers before they go to sleep. I pray over them every morning before they leave to go to work. Like, Faith works from home 2 days out of the week, and 3 days she goes into the office. And when she leaves, I never let them leave without the covering. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard Larry, all the stuff that we were talking about in the very beginning started to be reiterated once they started speaking. Know your flock.
Know your flock.
Make sure everybody is good. One of the ways that you can make sure it's good is make sure that you pray over them. So that's it. That's it, bro.
I got you. Yo, listen, man. Thanks for teaching me tonight.
Man, should we learn from you too? Yeah, you're a sniper, you know.
Mind yourself. Mind yourself.
Yeah, you're a sniper.
Yeah, you know, I found this, man. I thought about you when I found it. You saw that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Johnny
sir.
Quest. Hey, listen,
Dr.
man.
Quest.
That's it. That's it. Hey, listen, man. Again, thanks for the time. I have to say, before we break out of here, I need my song before you break out, please. I appreciate that much. You can't just end it like that.
That's what you're looking for right there?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
That's what you're looking for right there?
Appreciate that.
Oh, we could give you, I'm in the South now, so we could give you some of this. All right, pull up.
Yes, man. Until Monday. We'll talk again.
Monday.
All right. Unscripted conversation. Peace.